My name is Brian Pillman Jr., and you're listening to another wrestling podcast.
It's time for another wrestling podcast.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me?
Guys, I got blocked again on Twitter.
I'm your mark of marks.
That's the most reliable source on the interwebs.
The social assassin at your disposal, bitches.
All right. Welcome to another wrestling podcast, episode 244, The Mark of Marks. I am Credo.
I'm Minority Mike.
And I'm Angry Cooter, hoping to get us canceled today, bitches.
Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, that's going to be a theme, I think, throughout the show. But, guys, welcome back, right? Welcome back. Today, joining us once again, we have on none other than Brian Pillman Jr. If you guys haven't seen him in action, if you're listening to this and are in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, whatnot, Northeast Wrestling's coming back to Waterbury next Saturday, and Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be part of that Royal Rumble, the over-the-top battle, so stay tuned for that. He's on the show with JB. They're going to chat it up a little bit about that and a lot of other stuff, guys. We try to do a podcast every week. This is our podcast, right? Another wrestling podcast. But Impact has had quite a week. Quite a week of firsts, accomplishments, and then fucking Rob Van Dam, RVD, getting Impact kicked off of Twitch. Guys, this fucking guy. This is what it's come down to? Was it like, don't worry, guys, I got the promo, I'll film it. All right, RVD, since we've known you so long, we'll let you do it. And he got Impact kicked off of Twitch. They're only like WWE Network app or whatnot. Guys, did you? I know, Cooter, you just watched it, so. Come on.
Oh God, the highs, the lows, and now they can't stream from the announcer's phone anymore.
Josh Matthews.
They were streaming the show at one point from Josh Matthews' phone, I heard, on Twitch.
Well,
All I gotta say is that there are a lot of marks that watched that video with RVD and his two girlfriends, and there are a lot of marks that are taking a very long time cleaning their room.
oh my God. Could you imagine the kid that's like just got Twitch or was like, Mom, Dad, I want to get Twitch. Can we put it on? All right, son, I guess you're old enough. And that's the fucking first thing like they see is like as they're skimming through the chat, like, I don't know. I hope if there was a first out there, I'd love to hear about it.
Dude, I couldn't do it. Bro. I don't care how hot those chicks are. I couldn't flog the dolphin knowing that RVD is there. I'm like, that would just be weird for me. Sorry. I've just seen him in like too many wrestling matches. I can't beat off with RVD staring at me. It would be weird, bro. I'm sorry. I don't care how hot those chicks are, dude.
I'm not saying you're set for life with the wifey soon to be. I'm just talking about those marks that are in their basements, man. That's like.
Yeah, but what about you? You're the last one of us who's single. You couldn't do it, right?
Not with RVD, no. With the
That's
two
what
chicks.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. RVD,
Yeah.
I just see him. I see like ECW, and I wouldn't do it.
Well, I didn't know what that other girl's name is, but I feel like she's just like earned herself a spot at the gimmick table. She's totally gonna sell like shirts of this now and fucking live off this right next to Virgil on the gimmick table lane. That's it. This is all this girl has to do. This is it. That was it. The promo.
She's gonna do some kinky shit. She's gonna be the one pouring meat sauce all over fucking Virgil's naked chest. That's what's gonna happen, bro.
With the return of Sonny Tammy Lynn Sitch.
Oh, it's only listen, I know we're on Skype, but hey, easy.
Hey, it's $50, baby, for the first hour or half hour. I don't know. Anyway, guys, anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. Last week, Mike, you said it. I to check out a Tessa Blanchard match, and like I said, I've seen her live. I've seen her in action. I don't remember. It was a while ago, but I haven't really watched her wrestle. But I tuned in. I watched Gail Kim versus Tessa Blanchard. I loved it. I'm not saying she's my favorite woman. I'm not saying she's the greatest woman out there, but she's a great wrestler right now. And I did watch because the biggest news this week is her becoming the newest or the first ever Impact World Champion, the World Champion against Sami Callihan. I watched the match. I gave it a fair shot. I'll tell you what, man. I talked a lot about this with some guys at work, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a pro wrestling match. I feel like it's either in like the right place at the wrong time or something, but it's like I took a step back. I wasn't trying to be judgmental. I watched it as a whole. I enjoyed it. It was a pro wrestling match. It was okay. I understand that they had to like rush the finish because they're not like Vince and they can't overpay like a pay-per-view because it's like it's like thousands of dollars just to go over like a minute. I get the finish sometimes has to be fast, whatever. Okay. But I enjoyed it for a pro wrestling match. I liked it. It was a good match. But what do you do from here? Because I feel like the next match has to be Sami Callihan again. I feel like you have to give it back to Sami Callihan. If not, what does that say as him as a champion that like the first time a woman challenged, you know what I mean? And not to be, oh, what does that mean? What do you mean a woman can't? No, I get it, but I feel like you also now you got to pay the favor to Sami Callihan a little bit, but then it's him just beating a girl, which I know, a woman. There's so many things you could step on this, but I don't want to get anybody mad. But as a whole, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Send your hate mail to @Credo on Twitter. Yes, the one with the little blue check mark. Yeah,
I'm verified, by the way. But no, I'm trying to like it didn't bother me to where it was like pro wrestling to where I could just sit back, watch it, and enjoy it. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to like, oh, but he's a girl, he's a guy, or whatnot. It's not that, but it's as building it from here on out. It's like you can't build it around Tessa Blanchard. You know what I mean? Because then what does that say about your main event guys? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything about the women or the guys, but I know I'm painting myself into a corner, guys. But I don't know. Like you have to. I think you just have to give it back to Sami and then move her back to the knockout division. You can't keep her in the main event division. And lastly, I think it will only work with certain people. Like if you're gonna do this, it can only be like Tessa and Sami. That was good. It can't be a division yet. It can't be like every girl can go against every guy because it's not gonna work out like that. And that's what I'm trying to get to. Basically, is like this. I think is good as a once in a random while kind of a thing. It can't be every pay-per-view or every month. I don't know.
No, I see where you're going with it, and to have a woman be competitive in every match against a man, it just doesn't necessarily work. Well, like, could you see her in a match against?
And it worked
like,
for her,
Big
though.
Show?
But it's just, yeah, exactly. It's like
but that's what I'm saying. It just
for her and
wouldn't
Sami.
work. You know, one super kick, and you know what? She's done. You know that big chin of hers.
She's got the Jay Leno face.
I tried. Yeah, exactly. I tried, Credo. But you know, they like you said, it's a once in a lifetime thing. It was a great match. It's been a great story for as long as it's been going on, and you know that had to be tough to do that and stay focused with everything that happened literally the day before, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, you notice when anything good happens with Impact, something bad follows right behind it. Like,
yeah.
You notice that, like, when Impact was at its prime and they were, like, the best wrestling program on TV, then Hogan and Bischoff came in and just destroyed it. Or when Matt Hardy was at his prime and brought Impact back to life for that time period, then there was some other controversy between Matt Hardy and the Owl. Now you got a great storyline, and Impact has been a great program to watch for the past couple months. And then you got this great storyline with Tessa, and then you have the controversy that followed it, or it actually came before it, leading into it.
And now that was all too. That was all. Well, she didn't say anything inappropriate. She said, quote unquote, "Hey women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen." And then from there, you know, in response, you had Allison Kay or Sienna from Impact. She replied, "Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you?" Supporting women, the audacity of this tweet. So some people are hitting her back. I'm trying to think of who else.
Chelsea Green was the one that started it.
Yeah, Chelsea Green. She says you've constantly put down, bullied, and belittled countless female coworkers, including me. Is that support? So it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's surprising that people would come out Right. Well, that's not surprising, I guess, in the day and age we live in. But it was surprising that they just like attacked her, right? All like on one tweet. Like, why not other tweets? Like, what really? I don't know, man. Maybe she's an asshole behind the scenes. I don't know. You know, like.
Well, they always come for you when you're at your highest, bro. They always wait. They always wait. They have to, because you know what? If you don't do it, if you do it to somebody when they're at their lowest, it doesn't mean anything. It's like she's about to be like king of the world. She's about like a little bit below Becky Lynch status, and here you go. They just had to knock her right back down to a pedestal. But that's what you get for being a fucking asshole.
Yeah, no, they definitely waited, and they picked their time perfectly, because like just like Hooter said, like she was probably the most talked about story in professional wrestling
The whole week.
leading into this match. And then she puts out one tweet about women's support and all that, and then next thing you know, just the floodgates just open of these women. Maybe it's sour grapes, and maybe these women are just, you know, bitter and jealous, and maybe there's truth behind it. I mean, we will never know.
Do you think it would have came out if fucking she didn't make that tweet?
I don't know.
If she would have just kept her, stay off of social media for 2 days, unless you're plugging the match or putting a video clip up there. Why would you fucking say something like that where somebody could potentially fucking do something like that to you? Social media is the devil, bro.
I know. I was going to say, even on social media, like, why do you have to be that person to where if you know, you said something or whatever, go to the person and talk to them about it. Or, like, you know, if it's bothering you that much, why do you got to be the big person, like, oh, you did this? And maybe she did do it. Maybe it was on accident. Maybe she was in the heat of the moment being a character. Come on. You know what I mean?
Well, the person she fucking said it to basically verified it, and a lot of people are saying that it's true.
Yeah.
So, listen, it happened, bro. It happened.
But
let's
like,
be
why?
honest.
You know, it's like, why bring it up, especially right when she's gonna do it? You know, become like the
because that's when you're at your highest, bro. Because you know what? Yeah, that's when they do it, bro. They always come for you. What's that line in Goodfellas? You know, oh God, how does it go?
I know which one you're talking about too. Shit.
Your enemies come as your friends. They come at you when you're at your weakest and most in need of their help. But it always comes at something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, you know, you know, and we were talking too, like, why wasn't she signed by WWE, especially with having that last name? You know, she was the daughter of one of the four horsemen. I keep saying four horsewomen. But, you know, and then it's like, well, was there stuff going on that bad? Maybe I'm just playing devil's advocate. Is it going back as far to where is she known like this backstage or whatnot? That it's one of those things to where, as a scout, you're probably going to ask, like, hey, what is it like working with Tessa? Hey, what is it like working with so-and-so? And, like, is everybody just saying shit about her, kind of a thing? I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's touchy, but it's like, yeah, why? She's about to have the week. She's the number one person going on this weekend. And it's just like, why? Why do you got to be that person? Especially even if she did do it, you know, like, okay, she did it. She apologized, whatever. Nobody's perfect. She even said the next night.
Did she even apologize?
She apologized when she won the title, I believe. She did a little, you know, she made an off-air speech. She said nobody in this life is perfect after she won the belt and whatnot. So, whatever, you know, like, she apologized. And that's why I wanted to go back before, is like, whatever happened to, like, yeah, you say stupid shit at the heat of the moment or whatnot, but, like, whatever happened to not being able to apologize? You know what I mean?
It's not enough. The woke scolds are coming for you. They're coming to take everything, you know, that you own, because that's what they do. They have nothing else better to do than to find a reason to be offended. And in this case, probably rightfully so. But they're coming for you, bro, and they're going to make you pay because they have no life. Their whole world revolves around being offended and making people pay for the fact that you offended them. That's their goal in life.
Yeah. It sucks, but I mean, you know, at the end of the week though, she won. She's the champion now. But like, I want to mention before though, what do you guys think though? Where does it go from here to where she's at the top of the world? But what do you do now? You know, like, how do you get it off her? And then does she just stay in the division, or I don't know. I'm curious what everybody else is thinking out there too. Don't forget, I have to do this, guys, just to remind everybody. But at a wrestling pod, tweet us at Another Wrestling Podcast Facebook. leave us some love. Leave a comment on the show. What would you do with the women's division, though?
You know what really bothered me, though, Mike? And I was texting you this shit, bro.
Yeah.
The coverage from Busted Open. That shit got me so fucking mad. Because it wasn't like they were defending her. They weren't giving her a pass. But let's go back a few months. I'm going to throw out the Jim Cornette scenario. Because he made a racially insensitive joke on a taped show. And Dave LaGreca and Tommy Dreamer they were so offended, and it was he's out of touch, and he's always negative, and he can't say shit like that. He's got to go. And Dave LaGreca was disgusted. Fuck out of here. Tessa Blanchard spits in someone's eye and says the N-word, and you're basically going to cover for her? Speak on this, Mike, please.
Well, the reason why Tommy is defending her is because we all know that Tommy is a producer for Impact.
Well, there you go.
And so that's why he's going to defend her. I think this girl could probably have committed murder, and Tommy's going to find a way to try to defend her because he's defending the company that signs his paychecks. As with Jim Cornette wasn't an employee of Impact, so Tommy's just going to rip in on him. I guarantee you it probably would have been a different type of conversation if Tessa wasn't signed with Impact or if Tommy wasn't with the company. I think it would have been a lot more of a disappointing type of a Tommy Dreamer saying it, but he's going to defend her because, he's a producer there. He has to stick up for the company. He has to try to find ways to cover up for her to be a representative of that company. So that's why I think it went the way it did on that show.
Ugh, it made me sick, Credo. It pissed me off.
But you know what? I agree with you, though. I mean, it was kind of too much, babying and pampering. Granted, if I did something like that, you guys aren't going to baby and pamper me, I don't think. No, you guys are going to tell
nobody ever baby and pampered me, that's for damn sure. Credo, you've had to put me in my place on more than one occasion. We say this on a regular basis. How much of your life is spent editing out my bullshit in this fucking podcast?
And for $9.99, you guys can have it all. Just hit me up.
This ain't the WWE Network, bro.
I'll give you all the lost Cooter tapes. I'm gonna sell that one day. Well, yeah, but that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's like if she did say it, it was said. But I think that needs to be taken up between them two and apologize. You don't need to be fucking sending out tweets, and it doesn't need to be millions of people's business. You know what I mean? She messed up, let her apologize, talk about it. We don't need to fucking, who has the fucking most likes on fucking Facebook or Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Let's keep going though, because I feel the flow. I want to feel this going on, guys. I think we mentioned it maybe last week or the week before briefly, to where Marty Scurll, he's going to be also in Waterbury next weekend for Northeast Wrestling, but it was kind of like a surprise to me. And I have a little funny thing I like to say after the fact, but could he have gone anywhere? Maybe. NXT, New Japan, AEW.
Fuck all that. I'm gonna throw this out. I told you that motherfucker was gonna stay. No, he's gone. Yeah, we know he didn't sign. The man's gonna weigh out his options.
So, okay, but the option is that he signed a new Ring of Honor deal, and I thought that ship was sinking, honestly. I thought 2020 would have been the year that Ring of Honor would have finally started taking the slow step into the graveyard, if you will.
Fuck all that, man. If TNA Impact is still around, how the fuck is a better company like Ring of Honor not going to still be around? Stop it.
But, okay, all right, but out of all the options he may have had or could have had or maybe didn't have any, he stuck with Ring of Honor, but that's not it. He's also joined the booking team. He's the
head booker now.
Yeah,
the head booker.
So yeah, that's different, I guess. But to me, I don't know what is Marty booked before. Is he a good booker, or is it just good by association booker? Or I have no idea what the guy's ever even booked in a way to where I don't know. To me, that's all right. is that just to get him to stay, or how long is his
I was
agreement
just gonna
for?
say, is it just a title to give him to maybe say, hey, you know what? It's an excuse to say that's how we're gonna get him to stay and give him some more money.
Because like,
You know what? Yeah, listen, there's not another fucking division in AEW that's going to be able to be booked. Now he can say, hey, I'm booking a whole company. I'm not just booking a fucking division.
yeah, and it's like, you know, he would probably gotten lost in the shuffle too, like fucking Hangman Page. He's not an executive vice president too, so, you know, would he have just become like another guy lost on their show kind of a thing? So it's surprising to me though. I don't know. It's surprising out of all the options, or maybe, like I said, he didn't have those options.
I think the best, I mean, in my opinion, I think the best move he should have did, it would help the promotion, and, you know, he can be the face of the promotion. He should have just signed with the NXT UK brand and helped build that brand up.
Yeah, where's he from? Like, I mean, he's from overseas too,
United
right?
Kingdom.
Yeah, so
United Kingdom in London.
yeah, man, and it's like, so to me, I always like to joke around about this, and it's not a joke, but every time when I hear someone like re-signed with Impact or re-signed with, I'm like, is that because nobody else wanted you? You know what I mean? And to think like this guy, I feel like could have had any other deal, and I mean, WWE money, man. I mean, did they offer him anything? Or I know it wasn't offered to be on the booking team or whatnot, but is Ring of Honor really that much more? Or is it, I guess, just to be in control kind of for booking, kind of like that ideal scenario that some of these guys just want?
I think it's good for him because it just shows maturity, because he's not going to be able to wrestle forever. You can book after wrestling, you know. You see somebody doing something like that, it's like, hey, you know what? He's looking for, you know, somewhere where he can stay, where he might have a future, and after he's done with his in-ring career, you know, it's just it's a good sign. It's a sign of maturity, I think, because it's not just the cash grab. It's, well, what am I going to do after the cash grab?
Yeah.
You know, and this scenario shows that, hey, you know, he's in the wrestling business, and he's in the wrestling business for the long haul. So good for him.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it could use a little refreshment, especially when maybe PCO is your world champion. Is that still a thing? I don't know.
Still a thing.
Anyway, so that was just surprising to me. But speaking of AEW, they've also made the news this week because they're doing so good. They're signed on TNT now until 2023. And also, a second show has been announced that with this extended TV deal. So they're going to have another show. They don't know what night yet. But, I mean, already they're, you know, already till 2023. So another 3 years and a new TV show. Is that too fast of a move, or do they need another TV show? Or should they worry about maybe just still building that roster?
I think they're fine the way they are right now with the AEW Dark being on YouTube and then their flagship show on Wednesday nights. I think, you know, adding another night of professional wrestling, I mean, the fans as of right now are trying to keep up with everything that we have and to just add more to it.
It's such a fucking job.
Like AEW Dark and NWA Power are two shows that I can actually sit down and watch whenever I want because it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But for whatever they're going to put out there, like, I have to now, just because of this show, because we have to come in here knowing what happened and give our analyst opinions, right? Like, we have to actually sit down and watch an extra show.
Cooter, say it. Fuck all that.
Fuck all that. I propose a great idea. All right. So here's... We got 4 people on this show, right?
Uh-huh.
So here's what we're going to have to do.
Uh-oh.
Right? We got Raw, we got SmackDown, we got NXT, we got 205 Live, we got NWA Power, we got Impact, we got Dynamite, we got MLW, and we got Ring of Honor, right? Those are your weekly shows, right? So...
Main event? Is main event still a thing, too? Did you say that?
No. I'm talking about main shows,
okay.
Right? So what we should do is we should maybe just draw straws to see who has to watch what every week.
The only problem is that, like, just say, like, if I draw straws to do like NXT, and I'm the only person talking AEW or NXT. I don't want to be the only person talking. Like, I want to have a conversation.
No, yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Is like, you just got to keep it in bullet points, kids. You got to, and so the thing is that right there is that point right there, both of you guys, to where the point is who's going to be talked about. So those shows need to step it up. How do you stand out from the other ones? And going back to before with Tessa Blanchard, having her as a main champion right now is one of those things to where, oh well, our main champions can be women too, kind of a thing. But that's the thing, is like, you can't build a whole division around it right now. So, but all in all, what is each show gonna do to stand out more? Because if Ring of Honor,
we're gonna throw lots of money at Tyson Fury and have a main event WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar.
Oh, you just reminded me. I feel like I gotta take fucking Tums just every time I hear Tyson Fury.
7 times, guys. 7 times.
The motherfucker said he has to. It's out there. He's got to masturbate 7 times to get his testosterone level up.
Everybody will know what I mean when I say 7 times that man goes through.
Guys, yeah, that cannot be the plan. I mean, he didn't even look that decent for what he did with Braun, and to me, that's not even a big name. Like, that's if it was Mike Tyson, that's a different story. But like, this dude is like the Great White Hype. I don't even want to talk about him. I'm getting fucking.
I have to bring up something real quick,
flustered.
And this is just popped in my head. So he's got the Wilder fight at the end of February. Okay, now from the first fight, it was a draw. Both guys were medically suspended for, I believe, 90 days from the Athletic Commission.
That was a good fucking fight too.
It was a great fight.
Yeah.
If that happens again in this fight, where he gets medically suspended from the State Athletic Commission, I don't know if he'll be able to compete at WrestleMania.
Stop.
The Athletic Commission's run everything. I honestly, if and Wilder hits like a fucking Mack truck.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, if he puts him down, bro, I mean, but it's Florida. You know what? You're allowed to,
No. The Athletic Commission, it doesn't matter. If you get medically suspended in one state, that carries over to wherever. Like, if you have to serve a 90-day medical suspension, you cannot compete or do anything.
You mean to tell me I can't act? I'm just acting. It's not a real fight. It's just acting.
But you're going in there doing physicality regardless, especially with a guy like Brock.
But that's how they're going to get around it, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
But if he's medically suspended by the state,
I don't think he cares. I don't think it'll matter.
It does matter. Trust me.
It's Vince. Vince is setting up WrestleMania to be horrible because the fucking XFL is starting soon. He wants fucking WrestleMania to fail this year. Maybe that's it. It's a conspiracy. Vince wants the XFL to be more over than fucking WrestleMania this year, so he's gonna fucking.
Yeah, you know what's fucking funny is last week here we are talking about the possibilities. I threw out some great scenarios for what could happen in the Rumble. We were like at a point where, oh shit, this looks like there's so much that they can do with this storyline, and they even furthered it on Raw this week. Yo, can we do a quick segue? R-Truth is my hero, bro. Can we just throw that out there? R-Truth, he is the truth.
I love for a pop, and that was it. He fucking wanted to. Vince uses him.
Oh, you talk a lot, dude. Brock Lesnar laughing in the ring to me. I could watch that all night.
Oh man, the fucking Universal Champion versus the WWE World Champion. Fucking. Not the Universal, the 24/7 champion. Why did I say Universal?
That was so great. But back to what we were saying. We threw out all these scenarios, and then all of a sudden, a couple of days after we record, the possibility of fucking Tyson Fury versus Brock Lesnar. I'm just like, oh god. I'm so glad I canceled my subscription.
Oh man,
you're proving my point for me. You're proving my point for me. There's nothing that I'm excited for that I can't watch like the next day. I'm sorry.
You need like one of those like 0 days since like incident like at a work it's almost like 0 days since WWE's impressed me. Like you got to scratch it off. Like it's got to get to 30.
How many days has it been since I fucking canceled my subscription?
Oh man, I do want to add though. Speaking of some good voices, Taz the Human Suplex Machine is signed with AEW. I guess he's going to be on their announce team. I don't know if they're going to add a 4-man booth or what the hell they're doing, but Taz is a part of AEW now, and his first appearance was back in October as a guest commentator. But now that since it was extended to 2023, they also announced that Taz has signed a multi-year agreement with them. So, Taz to AEW. I don't know.
I think it's a good signing for them. I've always liked Taz as a color guy. I thought Taz he added a different voice to the table. I think he balanced that, like when the WWE, with him and Michael Cole, I think they worked well together. They balanced each other out. I don't know where he's going to go. I really hope they don't go with the 4-man booth, because that's just like, I mean, we shit on the WWE for having a 3-man booth.
I don't know.
Like, imagine they have a 4-man booth. Jesus Christ.
Too much.
As much as I love Shivani on commentary for MLW, and he definitely seemed like he made Jim Ross a little bit more comfortable at the table while he was working with him. I think originally the idea was supposed to be the 3-man booth and have Tony Schiavone do interviews. So if you're going to do Jim Ross, Taz, and Excalibur on the table and have Tony Schiavone do interviews, I'm good with that, because I don't need all those voices. I think 3 people fighting to get some airtime, like this fucking podcast,
Like us.
yeah, it's tough, bro, and it's distracting. It's too many fucking voices. But if you're gonna do it, you know what? Let Jim Ross call the action, let Taz analyze it, and just let Excalibur sit there and say all the move names. Tope Sorcida! Oh my God!
That was Jim Ross.
Well, you know, it was a mixture of the two. Fuck them all right?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's happening, guys. It's a full fight. But I'm kind of scratching my head at this, and I don't know the legality of things, but how did AEW acquire Bash at the Beach? Did like the copyright like fall from WWE, or
Yeah, they WWE let the copyright expire, and they didn't.
I feel like don't they own WCW, like their tape library? Don't they, like that? I feel like they own that name to where if some, you know what I mean? Like is WWE gonna have to blur it out now?
No, they let a lot of the names go. Like once the copyright expired, they never renewed it. Like Bash at the Beach was one of them. I think Super Brawl was another one. And there's a couple more names that they just let go, expired.
Weird. Especially with the network. That's so weird. Wow.
That's what happened with War Games before NXT brought in War Games. War Games expired, that gimmick, and then MLW picked it up. MLW was doing War Game matches, and then NXT picked it up. And I don't know what happened in between that, but I know that MLW picked up the copyrights for the gimmick match and the name. Man,
that's just weird. You know, it's just like the Young Bucks even said it too before like the show started about how they're probably going to get sued for this. So I don't know, and I feel like they should still be able to own that name since it's part of their property on like the pay-per-views with WCW. I don't know. I'm not looking it up. I'm not Googling it. I don't have time for that. But unfortunately, guys, this week too, Rocky Johnson, the father of The Rock, passed away at the age of 75. Do you guys have any memories of this? The only memory I could think of this was one of the first wrestlers I ever met, just like randomly, was Tony Atlas. And I remember when I met Tony, like the biggest thing about him was like that he was Rocky Johnson's tag partner back in the day too. So, man, I don't know. I don't know.
I hadn't even heard of it. You know, I was trying to get caught up with all the wrestling because there's just so much television this week for me. And I watched NXT this morning, and that's when I heard. I was like, oh my God, what a bummer. Fuck. I'm like, shit, man. But then, like, you know, you watched NXT, and it was like probably one of the greatest episodes ever. And I hate saying that, and it really made me forget, and it kind of pissed me off that, like, I forgot. But it was like, hey, you know what? They put him at the front of the episode, which was amazing. So I'm like, if you're gonna go, at least, what can I say? Yeah. It sucks, man. I hate it, man. We're getting older. Like, we're kicking 40's door down, and all our childhood favorites are like,
yep, going away.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, and he's a Hall of Famer too, 2008 WWE Hall of Famer. So rest in peace, Rocky Johnson. But guys, stay tuned for this because we have on the son of another legend of Brian Pillman. We have Brian Pillman Jr. joining us once again with JB.
All right, everybody, welcome to another wrestling podcast. 2020 seems to be an incredible year already for us. We've had some big names on, none bigger than who I'm about to introduce. He is, the master of the mullet, the Maharaja of the mullet, man mullet rock, maybe even. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Pillman Jr.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
It's awesome
Welcome
to have you on.
to the Mullet Club.
The Mullet Club, yes. Welcome, and I've been saying this a lot lately, but Happy New Year. How's it going?
Good. Just great. Getting started with some workouts. I had a great session of training last week, and I was off this weekend. No matches, no wrestling. So I took a little breather. Body's feeling good, and now this week I'm getting prepared really extra hard for MLW this weekend.
All right. Now, that's something that I didn't have planned to talk about, but I think it's really important. Nowadays, with you being kind of an independent wrestler still, not signed to a huge company where they're touring all the time and all that stuff, do you feel that you have an advantage over people because you have the ability to kind of let your body rest?
I do think that. I think a lot of guys overwork themselves in this sport, and I think I'm blessed that I have that opportunity to have some great matches and make a good living, and still every now and then take some time off. Some guys can't afford to take time off, and unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast, right? You always got to improve and get better. I haven't had a weekend off in about a year, so it was really nice to have that time off, and to really rejuvenate my body. I was feeling very, very tore up, very sore after my battle with Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Timothy Thatcher and TJP all in one night. So, you know how it goes. You got to do what you got to do. Your body's an investment. Sure, I could have made a bunch of money this weekend, but I needed that time off.
Yeah, I mean, work smart. That's really that's important, and obviously pretty cool that right now that this is you're able to do that. So you mentioned MLW, Major League Wrestling. You've been a part of that from basically sort of the beginning of your career. What's MLW meant to you, and how excited are you to still be there today?
It means a lot to me. When I first signed with them, I wasn't sure if it was going to be the right decision, but I knew I needed to make some sort of early decision to sort of build my stock and keep the momentum going. I tell people this all the time. I've never reached out or begged for an opportunity. I've always kind of just taken what's come my way and tried to let my work speak for itself. And I think the level of work I'm bringing has only gotten better over the past 2 years. I've been wrestling 2 years now. I'm starting to have some pretty high-level matches with some really high-level guys. And so not only that, I think I bring a lot to a show. I think I bring a lot of mystique, a lot of star power on any given card. So I'm starting to really believe in myself and the value that I bring. And I think 2020 is the year where I start earning those title shots. Absolutely.
Now, I will say I've listened to you a lot on interviews. I've got to see you wrestle live a couple times for Northeast Wrestling. It's surprising to me, even though that you are a second generation wrestler, taking that away, just how well spoken you are and charismatic. Do you feel like that's kind of your edge as far as what sets you apart from other wrestlers, or what do you think that may be?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where some people are born to do this. Some people are naturally performers in this business and artists too. Everybody's got their different strengths and weaknesses, and I see some guys on the scene with a lot more talent than me in certain areas, and in other areas they're lacking where I might be thriving. So the wrestling scene today is a variety show crop full of different types of styles and moves, and I think every show should have a variety of work on it, unless it's, you know, like a high-level pay-per-view or something where we're trying to get some angles over. But honestly, I love being a part of variety. I love learning lucha, all different styles, and yeah, I'm looking to bring my natural charisma to any company that wants to work with me, and then whatever style of wrestling that they do, I can always pick that up and learn that as well. But I think myself as a unique individual, you know, there's only one Brian Pillman Jr., you know.
Absolutely, and we are looking forward to seeing the Brian Pillman Jr. coming up soon for Northeast Wrestling. You're going to be wrestling at the Over the Top event in Waterbury, Connecticut. You mentioned some title shots coming your way, maybe. What do you think if you were to have a good showing here at Waterbury? Do you think that the chances would be good that we would see you potentially getting a title shot in Northeast Wrestling in 2020?
So that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. Northeast Wrestling has been a place that I talked about on the podcast earlier where I've had a lot of success. And success has been, you know, when it comes to winning matches, I don't always win everywhere I go. You know, a lot of companies have made me really earn and fight for that spot to call myself a victor. But ever since my debut at Northeast Wrestling, I've been a winner, and I'm going to keep winning. And I want to take that momentum and let the fans kind of fuel me into that title spot position. Do I think I'm going to win a title on my first shot? You know, probably not. It might take a few tries, you know, it might take a few months, but I do think that before 2020 is over, I'll be holding Northeast Wrestling gold, and it starts on January 25th with the Over the Top Royal Rumble and a singles match against Flip Gordon. So I got a lot on my plate going into January.
It's incredible. Like I said, it's been incredible to watch. You know, your name was kind of out there before you made your way to the Northeast. A lot of people were talking about Brian Pillman Jr., and obviously there's some things that happen when you're a second-generation star. There's also some things that happen whenever, you know, the circumstances that were your life got out there. But we were hearing about you on the East Coast before really we got to see you. Obviously, if you're in the area, stop by Northeast Wrestling, go to Waterbury. You won't be disappointed whenever you see Brian Pillman Jr., but one of the things that I'm wanting to know is what it felt like, you know, to be Brian Pillman Jr. stepping into that ring and knowing that people would already have expectations of you and your work before you even, you know, locked up for the first time. Was that was that a daunting task? Did you even take that into consideration, or you just said, you know, I'm going to do my thing and then let it kind of work itself out?
You know, the expectations were there from day one, you know, and for many, many weekends I traveled around the world to go out and fail and fail and fail. And eventually, after you fail so many times, you start to get good at this shit. You start to win some matches. You start to get more technical in the ring. You learn a few holds that other guys aren't using, and you start to, you know, really hone in on your core offense and what gets the crowd rolling. And it took me about a year to get rolling. And once I got rolling, man, the Rolling Stone don't know no bounds. You know, I've been rolling hard, and I'm going to keep going into this year. I've got so much momentum and steam behind me. Sometimes I don't even believe it. You know, I don't even feel like it's real because so much has happened in my favor. And I think that's just because I had a really hard life growing up. You know, I had a hard time, struggled, and went through a lot of adversity without my father and with the absence of my mother and stuff. So I dealt with all that in the past so that I could have now a future, you know, and a future in this business. So,
well, you know, you mentioned your father, and obviously nowadays there's so much wrestling out there, and even with the advent of the WWE Network, you're able to kind of go back and watch so much of your father's work, your father's legacy. You know, we unfortunately, you were fairly young whenever your father passed away. Do you get time to kind of look back and enjoy that and actually now see it for what it was and how special of a performer that your father was?
Oh yeah, I've always kind of, you know, looked back and kept an eye on his past work just to kind of see what people are expected and stuff of me. But at the end of the day, I don't really study his stuff because I don't want to be a carbon copy. I don't want to be imitating him. And there's some things I can't help and some little nuances that are genetic, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to overly, read into his work.
Absolutely. Now, congratulations are in order for you as well. Just about a week or so ago, you pretty much celebrated your anniversary for wrestling in the, you debuted in 2017. And so what's the best thing that's come from this? We know that you had a job prior to wrestling that you maybe weren't so much excited about, and then you get into the wrestling business, and like you said, it's a house of fire. You've been everywhere. You've been doing a lot of stuff. You've been working with some of the biggest names in the company, in the entire world, actually, and you were in AEW. You've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What do you think is really the biggest thing that you've gotten to do in your short time in the business so far?
What am I most proud of getting to do? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Or excited about getting to do? Really, just being able to work with two of these big companies that have helped me out, MLW and NEW. These two companies have taken great care of me. All the companies on the West Coast that flew me across the country and brought me over there. Getting to go to Mexico was an insane experience and one I would treasure and love to do every weekend. The Canadian companies that have brought me in and utilized my passport and my potential in that country as well. So really just getting all these opportunities, traveling, everybody helping out with travel, getting me there from the guy that picks me up to the airport to the guy that's doing my music at the entrance. You know what I mean? Everybody plays a part in my career, and I'm so blessed to have so many people giving back to me and as I give myself and my life to wrestling. Now, you have a unique style, to say the least. Obviously, you're rocking the mullet and pulling it off quite well, I might add. But you also rock a fanny pack, which is a bygone thing of earlier times in the wrestling business. But with traveling so much and having that fanny pack, what are some of the essentials that you have to keep in that fanny pack when you're on the road? Yeah, so with the fanny pack, you got to keep a lot of stuff in there. Chapstick, your toothbrush. If you got a travel-sized toothbrush, travel-sized toothpaste. You never know when you're going to need to freshen up the whites. Also, I'll open it up right now. Why don't we take a look? Headphones for when you're at the gym. All my credit cards. A lighter in case you need to light something on fire. I don't know why I would need a lighter. I don't smoke anything. Wink, wink. But yeah, I got some Neosporin in here, and yeah, I just changed. I put my wrestling pins on there. I've got an American flag, a Fest Wrestling, and a Warrior Wrestling pin. That's another company that has blessed me with some crazy, insane matches. I got to share the ring with New Japan's very own Lance Hoyt, if you will. So yeah, just the fact that I'm a commodity. People are treating me as a commodity. They're respecting my wishes and giving me some great experiences in the ring. This week I'm going to be helping out with the local school and teaching some guys some different things that I learned. So, well, we obviously are super excited that you're coming back our way. We know you're busy. We got a couple more questions to wrap it up, but one of the things that is kind of out there is that you may or may not do some freestyling action, and obviously we're not going to make you do that on live, put you on the spot, but musical influences. People get influenced in the wrestling business by anything. We've heard people watch something on TV or watch a movie or whatever, but how important is music to you in your life, and maybe who are some of your favorite artists out there today? Oh man, I'll tell you what, I draw influences from so many different artists, musicians when it comes to music, television, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I have a large variety of music that I listen to. I really like, Avicii is a good one. When it comes to rap, I really enjoy the Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem, 50 Cent, all that stuff. I really like to go hard. I like Kanye West. I also like alternative rock, It's all kinds of stuff. I listen to you name it, from Metallica to the alternatives, the freaking Bowling for Soup, the punk rock, all that 90s shit growing up,
Yes. Awesome.
The 90s rappers, I grew up in the 90s, so I was
Okay.
born in 93, and I'm sure when I was young, my parents were blasting all that shit in my earwaves while I was growing up.
Well, I think it's just understated. A lot of people don't always get to kind of find out what makes someone tick, and it's nice to hear, the
Oh yeah, it's great. I love to hear what wrestlers, what influences them and inspires them. I know that, I overheard Bray Wyatt, talking about the movie It and how it kind of influenced his character work, going into the Fiend and stuff. So everybody draws a little bit out of movies and everything, and music and comics and this, that, or the other, whether it's, the tattoos that they wear on their body or the way that they sell or the way that they fight and stuff. Everybody's got a little inspiration somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we also just saw this past weekend that one of the greatest, if not the greatest, depending on who you talk to, wrestlers finally hung up the boots, and it was Jushin Thunder Liger, and someone that your father had wrestled in the past, and you got a chance to also be in a match with him. How important was that to you, and did you get to reach out to Liger after his retirement?
Looking back, I wish I had not been so nervous to share the ring with him. But, being that he was old in his age and he had a very big retirement coming up, I wanted to really take care of him and take it easy on him in the ring. But, I don't like to live with any regrets, and I think we had a great match. It was a 6-man tag. I never got to have that singles, but like I said, being in his old age, I don't think he was interested in any singles matches, going into his retirement matches. But I'll tell you what, it was an honor. It was a true pleasure to kind of feel that chemistry, that instant chemistry that I felt with him in the ring. It was like I was wrestling with my father. It was really cool. My Japanese alter ego father, right? But at the same time, I think that in their culture, they look at that as a very honorable thing. That I wrestle, as a second generation wrestler. The Japanese really, they really respect and appreciate that. And I can't quite decipher his language, but in one of his tweets, he said something along the lines of, the son of his greatest rival, he also looks at me as like a son too. So it was really, it was a beautiful moment to witness his final moments of his career, and all the brothers that he had surrounding him were all guys that I shared a locker room with a couple weeks prior at Warrior Wrestling. So I wrestled Lance Archer for his last match before Wrestle Kingdom, last match of the year.
Yeah.
And then he went into Wrestle Kingdom against Jon Moxley. So it was really cool to kind of be in a few. I've been in a few, about 3 or 4 New Japan locker rooms. When they come to the U.S., they do indie shows, and they kind of take over our locker rooms, and I get to be a part of it. So I was on a couple shows with Liger, and one of them I wrestled him.
Well, it's such an honor to talk to you today. I know that I'm going to be able to look back at this interview later on, maybe it's a year and a half or whatever, and say, can you believe that we had this guy on, and then he blew up and made, a huge impact in professional wrestling. One of the things I want to try to do this year, because there's a lot of negativity in the world, whether it be just in professional wrestling or the world in general, what I would like to do right now is kind of to end this interview. You're going to be the first one, so we'll see how this works. But I just want you to kind of put out there, you can say one nice thing about, a wrestler, a peer, someone someone you don't know, whatever. But just, say something about somebody, something nice, and then I'm going to try to pass that on to the next person and the next person and the next person. So try to put something good out in the world.
Well, the nicest thing I can do or say is that MJF sucks.
That is incredible.
And he knows it. And he knows what I mean when I say that.
Well,
I hope that brings happiness to everyone to call out MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. You are a piece of human garbage. And that brings a smile to my face, and I think it does for many others.
I believe so, and we're gonna put this out there. We're gonna see what happens, and we want to thank you so much. Definitely come to Northeast Wrestling Waterbury. Tickets are on sale now. Mr. Pillman, I know you have a lot of social media out there. Can you let us know where people can find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Flying Brian Jr. and Instagram at Flying Brian 41. Northeast Wrestling, January 25th. I take on Flip Gordon in what is personally one of my dream matches. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it as well.
All right. Thank
and
you.
the over-the-top Battle Royal, whoever wins that Battle Royal has a chance at Darby Allin for the title.
Well, we can't wait to see you there. We're definitely come up and say hello, and thank you again for taking the time out today and speaking with us.
I appreciate it.
I was trying to think of something in between the interview and all this. You know, Cooter, you mentioned it at the top of the show, this whole cancel culture, on how, you know, it's the social media thing. Everybody's the keyboard warriors, man. They're hiding behind their computer, and some people, like, I don't want to, some people just don't mind saying anything on social media because they don't think there's no repercussions or something about it later, but, you know.
It depends how big you are, Credo. It depends how big.
I mean, even though I'm verified, I'm not that. I wouldn't say that shit. I wouldn't say that kind of stuff. I mean, there's half this time the stuff in the chat I trust you guys with that you won't show anybody to blackmail me. Because once again, the Patreon account is actually being launched, guys. It's gonna be there, so you'll be able to hear you'll be able to join some of these chats that you classically hear about.
You're gonna have to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
NDA. So yeah, welcome to. That's it. I'm gonna have to put that on the Patreon thing to where for $5 you also have to sign an NDA agreement to join our fucking chat rooms. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Anyway, but so I was trying to think of like how could we talk about something because social media wasn't around forever, believe it or not, and as some of the silly things that you think social media was probably around for, or wasn't, because I looked up some old school, like the biggest things in wrestling history, some controversial, some not as controversial, and I kind of want to get our take on it because I kind of want to bring us back to that moment. I want to just, you know, almost like a word association. So if I say like iceberg, you say Titanic, but I kind of want to say what the moment.
Are we going as if these things happened today?
Yes, as if you just watched it and now you're gonna like this is gonna be your tweet or your Facebook post or your Instagram post or whatever. I want you to like. If you can, we'll see if we can do it. And I don't want to really...
Oh, can I start?
Oh, you'll be able to start, but I don't want you to overthink it. I just want us to, what would you send to Twitter or what would you put online for everybody to see after this happened? Because like I said, once again, when these things happened, there wasn't that. You had to, like, wait a day for, like, a
Yeah. But I'm saying
newsletter to come out.
I want to throw out the first scenario.
Oh, you want to throw out the first scenario? Okay.
Yeah. You ready for this one?
Okay.
Tommy Dreamer gives Francine the vaginal claw. Go.
Vaginal claw. Going to Twitter. All right.
Hashtag grab him by the pussy.
Hashtag I'm not Trump. Hashtag me too.
Hashtag anything to keep me relevant in the world of wrestling.
How did Tommy Dreamer escape getting me too? Can we talk about that?
That's back in the day in ECW. They can
no, man. There's a video online I watched today. He did it to Candice LeRae like 4 years ago.
We're still holding on to Father Time, but Father Time's coming in fast, and I still holding on to the heyday. How about this? All right, let's keep going though. Let me go back to the Montreal Screwjob. Not as controversial, but controversial in its day, and you couldn't tweet about it. What would you say about it? Were you pissed? Because for me, I'm a Bret Hart mark. I love Shawn Michaels, but if you're asking me to pick between who's going to win, either one of these guys, it's Bret Hart for me. So when that happened, I kind of knew it from newsletters that something was going to happen, but I did not expect this. I would have been like, fuck WWE.
Oh, man.
I'm done with it. I'm watching WCW 2, like quitting it. Like, fucking I would have put like hashtag end WWE or end Raw or whatever. I was so pissed.
Hashtag cancel WWE Network.
That's it.
I was just going to go there. That was on my mind.
Mine would be just a troll credo if I was on Twitter. It would be, ha.
Fuck it.
Hashtag nah, hey, goodbye.
All right, that's right. Block Cooter so he can't see any more of my messages. All right, how about, because there's some weird shit that have happened too. So how about when the time Mae Young gave birth to a hand And now people complain about what they see on wrestling today. They don't understand where we came from, kind of a thing. Like, we witnessed the birth of a 20-something-year-old black man at the time with, like, an 80-year-old Mae Young at the time. And they had, like, they didn't show it, or they kind of did some weird, crazy sexual innuendo things backstage, and this led to a hand being born.
Hashtag women's choice.
I think it's like that. You guys ever see that meme with SpongeBob where it just says "I" on my head out?
Yeah.
See a lot of those if that happened today in social media.
Actually, this is what it could turn into. It's like the hashtag segment, or something. You know what I mean? Like, we could think of like, what would the hashtag be for this if it was back in the day, not so much as what you're tweeting. So I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit out there. I mean, man,
I got one here. Let me throw one out there.
Right.
Like a legit one, not a funny one. But could you imagine the uproar on Twitter with Pillman and the 9mm gun?
Oh, man.
Especially like after, the last few years with a lot of the shootings that have been. Dude, Twitter would be in an outrage right now if that was like happening today on television. What would your tweet be?
Man, the gun. It's so weird to like think about the time that it happened, because I remember watching it live, like happening on TV, and I couldn't tell anybody. Like, I'm trying to remember even if it was like AOL Instant Messenger or whatever they had at that time, but it wasn't like tweeting it for the world, or like you'd put it as your away message on AIM. You know what I mean? Like you'd leave it open,
yeah,
but you'd have.
You know what was so funny about it is when they would replay it on like on the Saturday morning shows and all that, they blurred out the gun.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, what's he holding? For all I know, like you're watching it, they're blurring out the gun. It's like, what is he holding? His cock? Why are they censoring this? Like, what are you doing?
Pushing the limits, WWE.
You know that one? I think Aerosmith. I think sings it. Jenny's got a gun.
Pillman's
oh my God!
The hashtag Pillman's got
a gun. Austin on the run.
Austin on the run. Man. What about even like Ron Simmons winning the WCW championship? One of the first black heavyweight champion at that time. Even for WWE, they didn't even have that going on. So it was like that was like a big deal. That was like the Tessa Blanchard thing of the day, to where he was the first black guy kind of a thing to win it on the main stage up here.
Listen, don't talk about Ron Simmons and Tessa Blanchard in the same sentence. Nothing good can come out of that, okay?
Well, as long as it's not a hand, I guess. As long as it's not giving a birth to a hand. But it's fun to think about. I know it's hard to be put on the spot sometimes, and it's okay. I mean, we're not trying to, go crazy with it, but it's just fun to think about. Like, some of these big moments that have happened, when they happened, you didn't have a computer to turn to. You had AIM. I would, like, message you on AIM, or even if it had that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of what years there was going on, but it wasn't like this, as far as like everybody, let's check out Twitter. It's trending. Nothing was trending. You know what I mean? It was a lot of crazy shit to think about. But even Undertaker tossing Mick Foley off the Hell in the Cell. People would go nuts. That would be like the number one thing trending in the world. Like, man almost dies off a fucking wrestling cage or whatever, to where nobody's talking about wrestling, but everybody would be talking about that moment right now online. And I don't know, that would be making like national news today kind of a thing.
Let me ask you, do you think it would be a positive thing, or do you think it would be negative press if
it would be too far? People would be like too much, too far, trying to get people like to almost like riot or protest.
It's
ban
true.
WWE. Yeah.
Look at what happened with Shane on Twitter when he jumped off to do the Taker right in front of his kids at WrestleMania. Like, there was a lot of angry tweets over that. I was kind of upset. I think most of us were like, dude, why would you do that in front of your kids if something, God forbid, bad happened? And that wasn't like a regular cell, man. And that was like a much bigger Hell in the Cell than what we were accustomed to. That was the WrestleMania Hell in the Cell. That's a big time right there.
And I know it's like art imitates life, and I get wrestling to where it's like they kind of have to be, that spotlight of like what's happening in the real world and stuff. But fucking Vince had like Lita having a miscarriage live on TV. They would be fucking dead by any, like, that trending in the world right now, like people tweeting about that. The show would be done. It's amazing what they got away with. It's nuts. That's what I guess the whole motto of today's show is basically it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy world, and I think it's so much crazier for these athletes, these wrestlers, these superstars to have to live in that kind of a world, because as they grow and as everybody just kind of gets older, mature, wiser, and whatnot, you gotta bring back that apology, man. Like, people say shit sometimes where they probably shouldn't, and it comes out unforcibly or whatever, but I mean, we all have to, like, be accepting of an apology, especially since they didn't fucking kill somebody. You know, they said something in the heat of the moment, they sincerely apologized about it. Okay, we don't need to keep going on and on, like, oh, I don't believe that apology, or this, like, can we just end it at the apology and move on with everybody's life? Lighten up. It's, I don't know, people, nobody gives a shit. I don't know. It's a tough world out there. Watch out for social media. Play it safe. Don't do anything, I guess, that can come back and haunt you. Don't be famous, because people are just going to come after you for something. I don't know.
Listen, stay underground till you're underground like Angry Cooter. Don't get popular. Don't let anybody know who you are. Don't get a blue check mark. And don't tug your pecker, bitches.